I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. With the fall of Eric Adams as mayor of the city of New York and the collapse of New York City government, people are scrambling now to discover, well, who is going to replace Eric Adams as mayor? There was a party held last Tuesday night, allegedly for Al Sharpton's birthday, in that little rinky-dink rat hole he called the National Action Network. Well, actually, they had it at Lincoln Center. And Governor Hochul, who has the power to ask Eric Adams or to demand that Eric Adams step down, and then the present New York City advocate will run the city of New York until they can find a replacement for the mayor, Eric Adams. None of that has taken place, but it's on the drums now that potentially that Al Sharpton could potentially throw his processed hair into the ring to run as the mayor of New York City. That is highly possible. And I could say, Al, don't do it. But rather than saying, Al, don't do it, because as you very well know, I've already made a declaration and thrown my proverbial hat in the ring to be the next mayor, to be the next mayor of New York City. And I want to tell you, as I stand before God, my hands on this Bible, I don't believe, listen to me, audience, I don't believe, people of New York and around the world, I don't believe there's anybody more qualified to be the mayor of New York City than yours truly, James David Manning. But let me say this to you. I mean, I know Al Sharpton is a well-known public figure, but let me tell you how I would debate him should he decide to run for mayor. The first thing I would do about Al Sharpton, first of all, he's not a reverend. The second thing is that Al Sharpton, of course, sold out Harlem for $800,000 cash in a Samsonite suitcase brought to him by a group of Jewish developers after Freddy's fire. There had been this Jewish business person who ran Freddy's Mart on 125th Street that sold moderate price clothing to the young people on 125th Street here in New York City in Harlem. He was Jewish, the owner of that property, and he had several Hispanic people working for him. And Al Sharpton had protested Freddy's fire as an interloper, Freddy's Fashion Mart, that he was a Jewish interloper. Al in his hatred for the Jews, that Freddy was an interloper and he shouldn't have a business on 125th Street. One of Al Sharpton's followers came back the following day after Al had a protest in front of Freddy's Mart with a Molotov cocktail and threw it into that clothing store. Now, these were not cheap clothing, but they were moderately priced clothing. And the shelves and walls were filled with clothing. And when he threw that Molotov cocktail in there and that gasoline hit those clothing and that bottle burst, the fire just accelerated so fast you couldn't even see out. So all the employees, these young Hispanic people that were employees in the store, ran down to the basement not knowing what was going to be their fate. They ran down to the base because they couldn't get out because Al Sharpton's friend had blocked the door with that Molotov cocktail. 7 of these very young Hispanic people went down into the basement, but the fire followed them down there into the basement as well. And before the New York City Fire Department could get there to put out the fire, all 7 of those young people were incinerated in that fire, all attributed to Al Sharpton and one of his followers. Now, Al's got many followers like that right to this very day. But those young people died because of Al Sharpton. And though Al Sharpton reached a deal with the Jewish developers after that fire, he sat down at the Cotton Club and took $800,000 in cash, and he promised the Jewish developers, which I think was extortion on his behalf and bribery on behalf of the Jewish land developers, at the Cotton Club that night, they brought to him in a Samsonite suitcase, $800,000 in $100 bills, cold cash. Al walked out of there $800,000 richer, but he promised he would never, ever hold a protest against any Jewish developer or any gentrification or genocide going on here in Harlem, New York City. When I learned of this several years later, I then started what is known as the No Do Nor Rain campaign, because all of the Hamite people, if they're black, realized that this was devastating. This gentrification, this Jewish money, this bank money, the power of the government, the power of the courts, the power of the lawyer was just taking property, taking houses, taking buildings, taking churches. I mean, they were just ripping and roaring as they would go, and nobody stood to protest it. I led a protest called No Do No Rain. So if Al Sharpton, and we have photos of that event that we took, but if Al Sharpton steps on the stage with me, I'm going to remind Al. I'm going to remind him of the deaths of those young people at the hands of one of his followers. I'm also going to remind Al, you said, Pastor, that's happened years ago. No, I understand the New York State statute of limitations for death never runs out. You said, well, Pastor, it's all past. Everybody's kind of gotten past that. Al is now risen. He's respectable. He's on MSNBC now. All the Negroes called him when one of their sons gets shot, when one of those thuggish sons chasing a police officer gets shot. They call Al, and Al is the premier preacher. He's the new Dr. Martin Luther King. And so, Pastor, just let bygone be bygone. No, listen, Al is a charlatan. Al is a drug dealer. Al is somebody who black people ain't got a bit more sense than to put this can't read the teleprompter on television. No, Al got to go. I can't wait to debate him. You see, the issue with Al is that everybody knows this, but ain't nobody brave enough, because once Obama, let me tell you something, Obama put his arms around Al and kissed Al, and once Obama kissed Al, everybody else, they're scared to tell the truth on Al. MSNBC put him on, gave him a weekly broadcast, a nightly broadcast at 5 o'clock. I protested Al and took him down from that. Now he's hanging out on the weekends at 5 o'clock when nobody listened to him. But I took him down off MSNBC. And Al, let me tell you something. I can't wait, boy, for you to bring your nappy head, processed hair. I can't wait for you, boy. Let me tell you something. You ain't met nobody like James Manning. I told that boy Robin Vince down there at the Mellon Bank, you ain't met nobody like James Manning. James Manning, the good Reverend preacher doctor here in Harlem. Come on, Al. Come on. Say you're going to run. I could not be more pleased than to debate you. And not to mention the fact that Al has been known with scandal after scandal after scandal. But Obama lifted him up. Obama hugged him, kissed him, put his arms around him, and they went and became two lovers. I think that Mary Wells in her song of the 1960s, well, I've got two lovers and I'm ashamed. Two lovers, and I love them both the same. Well, Obama and Sharpton became two lovers. And let me say this to you. What about Tawana Brown? He said, Pastor, come on now. He was convicted of fraud, and he had to pay $300,000 out to the district attorney up there who he defamed after a long and sweltering court battle. Pastor, just let that go, because, you know, you got some criminality in your background. You got some prison time in your background. You got some stuff in your background. I do. Yeah, I do. Well, if you want to bring it up, bring it up. Come on with it. But the way Al pimped, if you want, this will make Iceberg Slim from Chicago. What's Iceberg Slim? This is the pimp picture of the millennium. Is it the millennium? Yeah, this is the pimp. This is number one pimp on planet Earth. Al, here's what I'm going to do. I'll put out ads that if you want to know what a pimp is, don't look for Puff Daddy and Cassandra Ventura. No. no. Don't look for R. Kelly and Aaliyah. No. Don't look for them. If you want to know what a pimp is, this is pimp number one. And everybody who's been in the pimp game, look, this is Al is pimping this young. Al Sharpton is pimping Tawana brother. So Al, if you think you want to throw your hat in the ring, I'm going to tell it just like it is, boy. I'm going to tell it like it is. We ought to put this picture up on a billboard all over New York City. If you want to know what a pimp is, though Al is a bigger pimp than Puff Daddy, bigger pimp than R. Kelly, Al is the pimp of pimps. And he done pimped his way into these white people's newsroom. Done pimped his way. You know, when I see people like Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or some of these other white politicians coming to kiss this pimp's ring, going to sit down at Sylvia with some cornbread, some fried chicken, and some hot sauce, and Joe Biden kissed this pimp's ring. Listen, why don't you people in conservative media, why don't Donald Trump or somebody pick up on the fact that you got all these white politicians kissing this pimp's ring? They're kissing Pimp Sharpton's ring. The man's a pimp, and this is picture, it ought to be in the Pimp Hall of Fame. Al Sharpton, pimp number one, and his number one, if you will, stable whore, Tawana brother. Yeah. So Al wants to run for mayor. Is that right? You say, well, Pastor Manning, you know, you should let bygone be bygone. No, what Al Sharpton has done to this city and what he has done now, what he's doing now in terms of being Negro number one, the new Martin Luther King Jr. They've given Al the title as if he's Malcolm X, Adam Powell, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, all rolled into one. And the reason why they've done that is because nobody's identified him as the pimp that he is. He's a pimp. Now he's pimping white people. I'd like to find out, I'd like to go down there and have a meeting with, as campaign for mayor, I start my campaign. I'd ask for a meeting with MSNBC if I could meet with the editorial board, if I could meet with the scheduling, if I could meet with the people that put the programming together, if I could meet with, and ask them and find out who is Al pimping y'all. Why y'all put Al, he can't read? Look at him. Y'all, is Al pimping y'all? And not only that, but you better watch your sponsors. Fire, Al Sharpton. Fire, processed hair, Al Sharpton. I would want to know, who is Al pimping? I mean, okay, when I said Obama was a pimp, I said, Obama's a Mac Daddy. Obama pimped black women and white women. Obama pimped black men and black white men. Obama pimped Negro men and Jewish men. Al Sharpton pimps black people and white people. He pimps black politicians and Jewish politicians and white politicians. Al's a pimp. That's right. That's right. He's an ambulance chaser. And most people know, I've talked to him here, and I got to let y'all go. Mr. Engineer, bring up Al Sharpton's, fire Al Sharpton, Bob Jackson. But I'm going to let y'all get out of here in just a second, but I do want to say, so let Al run. You see, Pastor Manning, that's not really the ethical kinds of politics we want to have. Our mayor we don't want our campaigns to be marred with the kind of big pimping talk that Al Sharpton's a pimp, that he sold out Harlem for $800,000, and that the death of those young people the blood of those young people on his hand. That's, we ought to just let that be bygone. Really? Why don't you ask the people the parents of those young children that died, should I let it be bygone? They're just poor people, poor Puerto Rico. They ain't got no money. They ain't got no influence. They ain't got nobody going to step to help them. But Al's, they lost their life fooling around with Al Sharpton. Tawana Brawley lost her reputation fooling around with Al Sharpton. Black people lost Harlem fooling around with Al Sharpton, and I should let it go. According to your idea what ethics is all about, that's the problem now. And that's why I'm going to solve it. Yeah, that is right. I like that picture of Al Sharpton, the world's greatest pimp. Al and Tawana Brawley, the world's greatest pimp. In fact, he got a great medallion on there. That medallion is the pimp's medallion. And there is his #1 stable hope, Tawana Brawley. Fire! Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton. Fire! Process hair, Al Sharpton. I can't wait to get him on the debate stage. I can't wait. Go ahead, Mr. Engineer.
Fire! Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton. 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 The way he scream and stomp. We want 2 dead cops. Al got his wish, y'all. The way he race bait on MSNBC, Black Tricky Dicky. And FBI snitch. Al keeps staying rich, not paying taxes. Yeah. Police and greed, New York's finest turn their booties well. They're telling you, fire, Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton. Fire, process hair, Al Sharpton. Fire, Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton. Fire, process hair, Al Sharpton. Phil knows it's Al's fault. Freddy's fashion mark, you fired Alec Baldwin. Yeah. Ain't no John Chancellor, he's a cartoon character. Why not hire Bill Cosby? Yeah. Got no credibility at MSNBC. You better watch your sponsors. Yeah. If the Jews want to get it on, then your yarmulkes will come on now. Join a boycott to fire Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton. Fire Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton. Fire Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton. Fire Al Sharpton, Al Sharpton.